Hello there, welcome to Critic Reviews. Today I'm taking a look at Gladiator 2. No one wanted this, no one needed this, and no one is going to remember this. Before I explain exactly why this film is a waste of everyone's time, your spoiler-free plot summary. It is 16 years since Maximus sacrificed his life in the name of his beloved Rome. Sadly, his death achieved nothing. Rome is more broken and decadent than ever, ruled over by two desperate emperors who are letting their people suffer while they focus on military expansion. Part of this expansion is the conquering of Numidia, and when our main protagonist Hanno's wife is killed in the fighting, he swears vengeance upon General Cassius. Captured by the Romans and bought by a man called Macrinus, he becomes a gladiator and becomes embroiled in a political struggle for the very soul of the Roman Empire. Okay, so keeping things as spoiler-free as I possibly can, let's explain why this film's plot just doesn't work. The revenge. Maximus's revenge was pure. His family were murdered as part of a political plot. He was robbed of the chance to mould the Roman Empire in the way that Marcus Aurelius wanted, a man that Maximus loved like a father. There is an inherent tragedy in his fate that endears us to him, and he has us invested in his quest for vengeance. Quite simply, his fate is intertwined with the fate of all. He is quite possibly the only hope for the entire Roman Empire. By contrast here, Hanno's wife is killed in battle by an arrow. It's war. She is actively killing Roman soldiers, with pinpoint accuracy naturally. She is a legitimate target. I mean, she's the only woman in the Numidian army. I guess she was too selfish to teach any of the other ladies how to shoot, especially given that Numidia has the ethnic makeup of central Los Angeles. Anyway, here she fights from an exposed tower and dies by a Roman arrow. It's not Rome's fault, it's hers. Her tactical naivety, or maybe Hanno's, given that he seems to be in charge of the entire Numidian army, but this is enough for him to swear undying vengeance against Cassius. Whatever. The problem is, with this central supporting principle of the film being so flimsy, your investment is low. It doesn't help that Paul Mescal, although competent, cannot compare with Russell Crowe, having none of the grim resolve and stoicism that was so prevalent in the original. So, we have a couple of subplots. We have Cassius, played by Pedro Pascal, who is weary of war and the state of the Roman Empire. He sees and detests the emperors and plots to overthrow them. Also involved in this political struggle is Macrinus, who is using Hanno to achieve his own aims. This strips the film of the simplicity that informed the original, and splitting Maximus's character into two separate roles adds nothing to the movie, apart from pacing issues. Another character split in twain from the first film is Commodus. Now we have a pair of emperors who I shall call Midget Ed Sheeran and Julian Clary. Overacted, ridiculous, and one note, they have none of the subtle traits and foibles that made Commodus such a compelling antagonist. Likewise, Macrinus, played by a Denzel Washington who is firmly in autopilot mode, complete with his usual New York accent, is no Proximo. Even though Oliver Reed had much less to do in the original Gladiator film, his impact was immeasurably greater. His gravitas and presence is sorely missed in this. Pedro Pascal is also fine. He's not great, but his character doesn't really have a great deal to do. There's nothing really worth mentioning. He is probably the most noble character in the film, but he's hardly masculine. In fact, no one in this film is really. It's a massively notable difference from the "ultimately, we are all dead men. Sadly, we cannot choose how, but we can decide how we meet that end in order that we are remembered as men." The original was a tribute to masculinity and the honour of men, and that just wouldn't be allowed in 2024. Connie Nielsen comes back to play Lucia, here married to General Cassius, and she is a highlight, integral to the plot. She does great and looks great, considering it's 25 years later. It's a welcome return, and one of the better performances in the movie, in my opinion. Elsewhere, we have the great Derek Jacobi returning, although he's utterly wasted, and Tim McInerney as another of the senators involved in the political shenanigans that are going on throughout the film's 2.5-hour plot. He does fine as well. So, overall, the film is overstuffed with characters to the detriment of the main plot, meandering and wasteful, leading to a lack of investment and world building that was so strong in the original. It's weak and watered down, unable to support itself and tarnishing the original. But what about the set pieces? Those are good, right? You will at least be entertained? Well, kind of. There's no doubting that Ridley Scott knows how to compose a frame. The man has been directing movies for nearly 60 years, and even though his best days are undoubtedly far behind him, in places this film looks quite spectacular. But elsewhere it looks rather fake, with some questionable CGI and effects, and a general Hollywood artificial veneer to everything that is a long way from the gritty, grounded look of the original. As such, you feel detached, not part of the film, again leading to a lack of immersion and investment. But you know what else leads to a lack of immersion? Maximus's famous quote being carved above his armour in fucking English. Even Monty Python got that right.
What's this then? Romanes eunt domus? People call Romanes, they go the house?
It says Romans go home.
No, it doesn't. Domus takes the...
The locative!
The kids!
Domum!
Understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, write out 100 times. Hail Caesar. If it's not done by sunrise, I'll cut your balls off.
Fuck off, film. Final thoughts. Gladiator 2 in no way, for 1 second, justifies its existence. Every single frequent callback to the original just makes you wish you were watching that instead. This modern effort is inferior in every single way, from its insistence in adopting modern ideals, just wait to the monkey hooting scene and see who notably doesn't participate, to its lack of relatable characters and quotable dialogue. It is epically hollow, utterly forgettable, and should never have been made. Please, someone, get Ridley to stop. You're only tarnishing your legacy and reputation. Compared to the original, this is nothing but shadows and dust. Thanks for watching. I've been Critic, and I'll be back with another movie review soon.